What's up, you guys? Thank you for clicking on this video. So as you can tell by the title, I am back with another top 10 list. I haven't done one of these in like a few weeks or a month or so. But back with Studio Series here. This is part 2 of Studio Series figures that need reissues really badly, that are super expensive on the aftermarket nowadays. And it would just be really good for people who missed out on them back then, or new collectors that weren't in the franchise back then, to have these releases now that they're so expensive on the aftermarket. So without any further ado, let us get down to this top 10 list. This is in no particular order. I'm just going off 10 random figures. So first one here, Dark of the Moon Sideswipe. Not really RTF Sideswipe. You could still find him for a decent price. But Dark of the Moon Sideswipe, he has crept up there a lot over the last 5-6 years since his release. And to get this guy sealed, you gotta pay like $70, $80, $90 for a deluxe class. And especially a deluxe class with that much clear plastic in the mold, you might as well just take your $70, $80, $90 elsewhere and buy a few figures with that money, because it is not worth it. Trust me, guys, I'm sure one day Hasbro is either going to redo this Sideswipe or just straight up reissue this mold. Me personally, I hope they redo it, because all that clear plastic is terrible. But either way, they just need to do a new Dark of the Moon Studio Series Sideswipe. Dark of the Moon Crowbar. Now, this figure really wasn't too sought after the first couple years it was out, but recently he's kind of crept up there. You know, you gotta pay like $50 or whatever to get him, and especially with Hatchet coming out next year and rumors of them wanting to redo Crankcase at some point, it would just make sense to get Crowbar out there again to people who want to complete their dreads and people who just want a Crowbar figure in general that don't want to pay aftermarket prices. Next one here, 2007 Optimus. No, not the original Voyager. I'm talking about the Studio Series 1. It was reissued a couple years ago in the Autobot 5-pack, but since then the 5-pack sold out on Amazon, and now it's like $200-$300 to get that pack, so that's definitely not a viable option anymore. So just straight up reissue that 5-pack, or just reissue the Optimus itself. It's a pretty good figure. Maybe I kind of hope they would redo that Optimus, because there's some certain design issues that I just don't like, inaccuracies between the film model and the toy. But if they did reissue this, it would still be great, because it's still a pretty good figure, and I know a lot of people out there missed out on this. Next one here, Bone Crusher. To go along with your Optimus, if you want to recreate that iconic highway scene, you need a Bone Crusher, and he's crept up there in price a lot. You gotta pay like, what, 80, 90, $100 for one sealed, 70, 60 for one loose or whatever on eBay. It's getting ridiculous and crazy. For a Voyager class like that, you shouldn't be paying that much, and I would advise you guys not to. I'm sure one day at some point, maybe for the 20th anniversary in a couple years, they're going to reissue this Bone Crusher and Optimus and whatever hard to find 2007 movie Studio Series figures they want to put out there again, because Hasbro's just not going to miss out on money. All these figures I'm talking about are going to get reissued or redone at some point down the line. It's a matter of when and not if. And to go along with your Bone Crusher, why not just reissue the Decepticon pack, throw up some more on Amazon? That sold out a few months ago, and now it's starting to creep up there in price. $200 for one sealed on eBay. And it's only been a couple months since it sold out. I mean, that thing was on sale for like $130, $140 on Amazon for close to a year. So it would be nice if they just restocked that, because I'm sure there's a lot of stock sitting somewhere in warehouses, or Hasbro can just press the make button in the factories. I know that's not how it works. I'm just being silly here, but it would be nice to see this restocked, because I'm sure if you check back next year, this thing is going to be another $300-$400 to get, and obviously that's ridiculous. Next one here, SS86 Ultra Magnus. Now, this is a Commander class release that was super hard to get from the get-go when it first came out last year, and I'm not sure how many people were even able to get this thing. It really doesn't seem like that many. I'm just really wondering how many copies were made and how many actually got to the hands of people. I don't know, maybe some shipments were lost, or I don't know what happened with the distribution on this figure, but it seemed a lot lower than other Commander class figures, and it even seems lower than the 86 Optimus that came out a couple months ago. So if you didn't pre-order this guy, you basically didn't get your hands on him at all, which is pretty crazy. So this is just a prime example of something that needs a reissue as soon as possible. You gotta pay like $200 for one sealed. Absolutely insane. And I'd say if they don't reissue it next year, he's definitely going to get reissued on the 40th anniversary of the 86 movie in 2026, only a year and a half away. So if you guys are patient, don't worry. Hasbro is going to reissue this thing up the wazoo. They're not going to miss out on this money on the aftermarket with this figure. Next one, Revenge of the Fallen Soundwave. Now, I was surprised when I found out this figure was hard to get. Like, y'all are fiending for a Revenge of the Fallen Studio Series Soundwave nowadays. I remember when this figure first came out, people were hating on this. They wanted the 2009 Deluxe before the Studio Series one. And nowadays, it's like the complete opposite. People are going crazy for this Soundwave. You gotta pay like $50 for one loose, like $80 for one sealed. I mean, how did this happen? I thought y'all hated this figure. But I guess not. People are loving it after a couple years, so it would be nice if Hasbro reissued this. I don't know, maybe for like the, we already passed the 15th anniversary, if you could believe it, which is insane. Maybe next year or the year after, I have no idea. But The Last Knight Hot Rod. Now, this is a figure that was pretty well loved when it first released 2.5 years ago. And I'm not really surprised that it's hard to get now. It's a really great deluxe mold besides all the clear plastic. The articulation, the engineering, the accuracy to the CG model from the film, it's all fantastic. And I really don't see why Hasbro wouldn't want to repack this as either like an exclusive in a 2-pack with Bumblebee or something, or just straight up reissuing the figure in the main line or as a fan channel exclusive, because this mold is really well received, and the fact that it's so expensive now on the aftermarket just proves how much people actually love it. Next one, The Last Knight Crosshairs. It could kind of count as Age of Extinction, but I'm pretty sure the car paint with the black lines and the stripes or whatever on this car are different than Age of Extinction. So this is basically Last Knight, and yeah, I mean, besides the clear plastic, it's a great figure, and I'm not surprised it's so expensive now. And I definitely feel like because of this character being such a fan favorite that Hasbro is going to recognize this and definitely put him out there relatively soon, maybe in the next couple of years, I'd say. And the last one for the top 10 list for Studio Series figures that need reissues, we have Age of Extinction Leader Class Grimlock. Now, this dropped right when the Studio Series toy line started in 2018. It's been over 6 going on 7 years now. We still don't have any of the other Age of Extinction Dinobots. They got sidetracked basically for the 86 Dinobots, which in my opinion is kind of ridiculous. They should have finished the live action Dinobots before moving back into G1 so soon after getting the Power of the Primes G1 Dinobots. But I think to start off with, they need to reissue or just straight up redo this Grimlock. Maybe make him as a Commander class release in 2026 or 2027. Or just do the cheaper option and just reissue the figure, because a lot of people would just be happy to get this original leader class. It's still a good figure, amazing paint, amazing sculpt. He's just too small, and I think a Commander class would be in better scale. But again, if they just reissued it, it would still be great. A lot of people would still be happy all across the world. And it would just make sense, you know? They finished the 86 Dinobots. Now it's time to move into the Age of Extinction Dinobots. And I really do feel like to kickstart it off again, either redoing or reissuing Grimlock here would be a great idea. But yeah, guys, that pretty much does it for my top 10 list part 2 for Studio Series figures that need reissues. Let me know down in the comments below, which Studio Series figures do you want reissued the most? All my social medias are linked down below, including my email if you guys want to hit me up about business inquiries or if you want to message me about whatever, or if you want to commission a diorama from me, because I make dioramas for people for their stop motions photography or regular display shelves in your homes. You could either hit me up on any of my social media accounts or just email me and we can work out a deal. But yeah, guys, thank you for watching this video. Catch y'all in the next one. Bye!